Welcome back to The Line. It's official. The Archdiocese of Santa Fe will join 19 other diocese organizations in the U.S. to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Over the last 20 years, the Archdiocese has spent millions in payouts to victims of sexual abuse by priests. And right now, there are roughly 40 active claims underway. Sophie, and the move is a financial one, certainly. Archbishop Wester says they don't have the finances for all these settlements and payouts and then take care of their regular business as well. But there's some plans about how to use this money and how they deem appropriately. Your top line view on this?
So I'll start by saying that a Chapter 11 is often referred to as a reorganization. So it's not the kind of bankruptcy where they're like, hey, we're going to shut down and see you guys later.
Right.
One of the things that Chapter 11 allows them to do, though, is to essentially say, look, we know that we have these claims against us. Please come forward now. We have this set time period, and I haven't heard that the deadline has been announced at this point, but we have a set time period where we can gather information about claims. Please come forward, because we also have a set pot of money, and we want to make sure that everybody who has a live claim comes in and gets their portion of that money. Now, at the same time, there are concerns and complaints that the Archdiocese has been moving money out of its sort of trustee oversight to individual dioceses. That's a pretty normal thing for an entity like this, like the church, to do. And I know that there's real concern about that, but within the Chapter 11 process, there's an opportunity for the U.S. trustee, who's going to be appointed from outside the church, outside the plaintiffs' groups, opportunity for the U.S. trustee to really test were these appropriate transfers. There's an opportunity for the claimants, the victims, to also seek to test that. And compared to other types of litigation where we have settlements and things like that, bankruptcy is pretty transparent. So we should expect at the end of it to have a fair amount of information about what went down.
Good setup there. I appreciate that too. Merritt, the idea that the move is a financial one, certainly, but is it a good look, as they say out there? I mean, I hear Sophie's point, but is that going to fly with the Catholic community in a lot of ways? And
my family moved to Mexico when I was a year old, and I'm a lifetime Catholic, and I identify very strongly as a Catholic. And my growing up experience has been in New Mexico. And I think, like other New Mexico Catholics, we want this to stop. Our priests want this to stop because they're the frontline ambassadors, and they're the collar-wearing folks out there who are getting the smear when they're running their parishes and they're dedicating their lives to service and doing the right thing. So if you look at the analysis of a crisis, you got to stop the behavior, prevent the behavior, make what repairs you can. I think finally, it's been too long, I think finally, with the publishing of names, of credible allegations, I think that's huge, and the disposition and the transparency. And it's been shocking to me because two priests I knew very well growing up, who were friends with my family, are on this list, and they are no longer active, which means I know victims. And that's really upsetting to me. And so I think if the church has to decide, we have to move on from this because we need to continue helping the poor and less fortunate and disenfranchised. And if we don't have the money to do that, we have to set aside, as Sophie pointed out, this is the pool. This is what we have. There's no amount of money that can ever make this right. But we want to be able to continue and provide counseling and bring you back into the church. And that's where I think the church needs to be coming from.
Good point there. Adrian, the AG is investigating a couple of cases right now, and there was some. They conducted a search warrant in the offices here in Albuquerque. Has this spurred some of this along? It just seems like the Archdiocese had to do something at some point. And now it's time, I suppose.
I think that what I'm seeing as a layperson with bankruptcy and the Catholic Church, I continue to see when this news comes out, I see continuous acknowledgments of the harm that was committed by the church and by people in the church. And I read the Archbishop's statement, and some of the things that stuck out to me was that this was a move to provide support and healing, and that they were acknowledging that there was harm by their clergy. From what I can tell on the outside is that this move does provide some protection to the creditors, which are the victims, and I hope that the church keeps making efforts to provide justice for survivors, and we're going to have to, I think you said it, like folks want this to stop, and
Right.
you know, I think everybody wants justice.
Right. Asking victims to come forward, as Sophie mentioned, this is an interesting bit of this too, because if there's a time issue, that's a tough thing. Folks come forward when they need to come forward. Let's put it that way. We can't, just like we talked about with rape kits, you can't just say it's a certain period of time for you to get up and come forward or you lose it.
Well, at some point you have to, right? I mean,
Right.
you can't have an organization stay in existence that says we forever have to carry the liability, the potential liability on our balance sheet because we don't know when there's going to be closure to it. The problem I have with this, having been raised Catholic, attending Catholic school, I'm just not happy that it seems like every time the Catholic Church responds to this or seems to say we're making a change is after some horrific news, after we find out that something bad has happened again.
Right.
And, I remember going to church for years and, my parents giving to the building fund, the message from the Pope to give money to the church, and now all of a sudden we've got these little individual entities out in the middle of nowhere that they're responsible for whatever it is that happens to them on their own. Well, when we collected money, that didn't just stay in the Catholic Church. That didn't just stay in my parish. It went to the diocese. The diocese went to Rome and the Vatican, and it's a big business opportunity. And I just have a real bad feeling that I'm not sure how much this is to make right as much how much this is a business
I think
decision.
the cooperation with law enforcement, and we're seeing that nationwide, that is the biggest change in the U.S. Catholic Church, is the American bishops. Instead of taking care of it, much like the military with their own military code of justice, the church, sending priests to sabbatical here in New Mexico. The change from handling internally to being transparent, I think this shows a lot that the church wants to change.
You anticipated something. I'm wondering, Sophie, just to finish, was how impactful was that Pennsylvania situation where law enforcement came into the situation because they had to at a certain point? It just seems like a tide has turned, and Merritt's quite right here. There has to be a partnership here.
I think that the tide has turned. My hope is that decades from now, we're not sitting at this table saying, well, it happened again.
Right.
But I also think, there's attention being paid by our law enforcement, by our government. We are looking at it in a different way. There was a time that not just the church, but the community said, that's church business.
That's right.
And we have moved away from that, not just as a state, not just as a country, but around the world. I mean, you see the protests that happened in Ireland, which is, just about the most Catholic country out there.
That's right.
The church cannot survive using its old strategies for dealing with these crises. Right. And, we can't help but hope that the victims are, we don't get more victims.
That's right.
It's hard to say because
But it feels like something's moving forward, though. Some kind of momentum is moving forward here, so we'll see what happens. That's all the time we have for this week. If you want to weigh in on any of the topics we discussed this week, be sure to reach out to us at NewMexicoInFocus.org or join our fun Facebook group, Focus on New Mexico.